Okay, so your heading was 2.6 quadratic formula, yes?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay, so what is the quadratic formula? The quadratic formula is what we use when we can't factor. So it says solve each equation with the quadratic formula. That one tells you, but I'm just going to tell you solve the equation. So when you see a quadratic equation with the squared, you should set it equal to 0 and factor, correct? That's what we should do, yes? So what we've been practicing is the factoring of we make our x and we take 2 times negative 14 and get negative 28 over negative 3. Yes? So we've done?
Yes.
Okay, so now we need the factors of 28 that have a difference of 3.
7 and 4.
It'd be negative 7 and 4.
Oh, shoot. I don't want it factorable. It's supposed to not come out to be factorable.
Is that why you're looking at me like that?
No, I'm looking at just a second. Include problems with no linear quadratic terms on the left, exact, solutions, rational, irrational, imaginary, no like terms on the opposite side. Poo.
So you don't have it. Free day.
No, it just wasn't.
Hey, there's answers.
Okay. Well, it wasn't supposed to factor. Okay, so we said negative 28, and we did negative 3, and you said negative 7 and what, 4? Okay, so then we would say, well, the only factors of 2 are 2 and 1, right? So we'd say 2 and 1. Well, I need to get 2 times whatever's here, and this times this is going to give me my 7 and my 4, yes? Well, I can't take 2 times a number unless I want to take it to like 7 halves. You want 7 halves?
No.
No. Okay, so I got to get 4. So 2 times what is going to give me 4? 2. Is 2 a factor of 14?
Yes.
Yes. Is the other factor 7?
Yes.
Yes. So I need a positive 2 and a negative 7. How did I know it was a negative 7? Because we put what? Negative 7. So we have m equals, I'd subtract the 2 over, right? So negative 2. And I would subtract or add the 7, divide by 2, and get 7 halves. Okay. So what the quadratic formula does, if this problem didn't factor, which it wasn't supposed to factor, if it didn't factor, then I would have to use the quadratic formula. Okay? So what that means is I have to know what the quadratic formula is. So the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. I'm going to sneeze.
That looks a little complicated though.
Okay. This is something that it's going to take a minute to learn, yes?
Yeah.
Do you need to write it every time for a while?
Yes.
That's the answer?
So where does A, B, and C come from?
Yeah.
That's not an answer.
It comes from my problem once it's set equal to what?
0.
0. So in this problem right here, what is A? 2. So A equals 2. What is B?
3.
3? Nope.
14.
Negative 3.
Negative 3.
Everyone see negative 3? Okay, what's C?
Negative 14.
So all I do is plug them in. Well, what does negative B mean?
Is it the one thing?
It just means the opposite sign, yes? Guys, negative b over 2a. Is that familiar?
Yes.
Is that the vertex, the h of the vertex?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it comes from, is here. Okay, so I have x equals negative b, so it's negative, a negative 3 is a
Plus.
plus or minus the square root. Well, b squared, so negative 3 squared is
9.
9, minus 4 times a, which is
2.
2, times c, which is
Negative 14.
negative 14. Divided by 2 times a, which is 2. Now I just do the math. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, right? And negative 8 times 14, oh, it's going to be plus, right? And 8 times 4 is 32, carry a 3, 112? Okay. So then I have, under the square root, I have 9 plus 112, which is what?
21.
Okay, so 121. Yes? So I have plus or minus the square root of 121 over what? 4. And it's still x equals, right? Well, what is the square root of 121? 11. So you have 3 plus or minus 11 over 4. Okay, well, 3 minus 11 is what?
8.
8. Negative 8. So I get negative 8 over 4, which is
2.
negative 2. And then I have 3 plus 11 is 14 over 4, which is what?
7/2.
How about 7/2? Now, we have negative 2 and 7/2. What did we have over here? Negative 2 and 7/2. And it should have been m, but m is the same as x in this case, right?
Yeah.
So, see how it will work? Could I do this instead of factoring?
That's so much faster.
Okay, I've had one student in my career of teaching that only did the quadratic formula on quadratics. She hated to figure out the factors and do all this, so she dealt with the square roots. Now, do they always come out nice and even? No. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute and get us one that doesn't factor so we can do this for realsy. I want irrational. Rational is what we just had. That's why they weren't coming out. Okay, so I said 3, so I'm going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do one at a time. Okay, so first thing I should do, it's quadratic. I should always set it equal to what? 0. Okay, so I always set it equal to 0. So I have 4v squared plus 1 equals 0. Yes? Okay. Well, this isn't a trinomial, is it? Is it? No. Does 4v squared and 1 have any common factors I could factor out? No. So I guess I'm back to the original problem, aren't I? Yep. So then I have 4v squared equals negative 1. So I'm solving for v, yes? So now what do I do? Because all problems come out differently. I'm solving for v, guys.
Could divide by 4
I have to divide by 4, don't I?
to get your 4 off of the v squared.
Right. So I have v squared equals negative 1/4. Well, how do I undo a square?
Square root.
Square root. So I square root and I square root. So I have v equals, now when I take the square root, I always have to put a what in front of it? Plus or minus. Well, we have a problem. What's our problem?
There's a
That negative.
inside our thing.
So that negative is an I, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, so that is I. We got that. We're good there. So what's the square root of 1? 1. What's the square root of 4? 2. So my answer is plus or minus 1/2 I?
Yeah.
Our imaginary number is going to go away? No. You don't have the luxury anymore of saying, oh, we can't do that. We have to change it into an I, don't we? So these problems are going to be just different complexities. And we're ready to go to the next one? I don't want it like that. Okay. So it says solve. So I need to set it equal to what? 0. So I have k squared minus 2k, and I would add the 3 over, wouldn't I?
Yep.
Plus 3. Okay, well, I said solve. I'm not going to put by quadratic formula, but today you're going to use the quadratic formula, but in the future I won't say by quadratic formula. Okay, so I have 1 times 3 is 3, and I need negative 2. My 3 is positive, so that means I need the factors of 3 to add to 2, and they're both going to be negative. Wait a second.
There's not.
There's not. I cannot factor this, can I? So if I can't factor it, I have to use the what? Quadratic formula. And so we have k, so we're going to write it again. So k equals, can you just tell me?
Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a.
Okay, she read that, but here by next week, you should be able to say negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I didn't. You have to know the quadratic formula. When do I use the quadratic formula? When I can't what? When I can't factor is when I use the quadratic formula. And it's quadratic. Right? If it's not quadratic, can I use the quadratic formula on it? No. What is A? 1. What is B?
2.
Negative 2. What is C?
3.
3. Now, you don't have to write this down, but it may be helpful today. Okay? So, I have K equals. And are you guys writing it? Okay. It would be negative B, so it would be a positive 2. Plus or minus the square root of,
Negative 2 squared.
so 4 minus 4 times 3. And you can put the 1 there, but do I need to put the 1 there? No. If you want to do it, you can. I don't like to because then it throws my brain off. All over 2 times 1, which is 2. And then I simplify. Okay, 4 minus 12 is what?
Negative.
8
Yeah.
over 2. So am I going to have an irrational number again? Okay. Well, I need to simplify the square root of 8. Anybody remember what that is? Perfect square root of 8 is what?
2 square root of 2.
2 square root of 2. Awesome that it came. We should have done that a lot.
I'm proud of that on this.
Yes, I am. All over 2. Yes? Can I take a 2 out of here and here? Can I take a 2 out of everything?
Yeah.
Yep. So this would factor to 2 and 1 plus the square root of 2i, wouldn't it?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I just factored a 2 out of the numerator. See that? And since I did it, what happens to my 2 here and my 2 here? They can reduce. So k equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 2i. Hardest part of this is going to be simplifying, isn't it? And if we keep getting irrational numbers, I will make it recalculate so we don't get all irrational numbers. Or imaginary numbers. I should say imaginary because they're irrational. Questions, guys? All you need to remember is what? Quadratic formula. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back and let's make sure we get ones. Ooh, what are these ones?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Do number 8.
Easy answer. Filter.
There we go.
Okay, so
Up on the board and do it.
all you have to first do is set it equal to what, guys? 0. So I'm going to add the 2 and subtract the x squared. Yeah? And what do I get? Cole, what do I get when I subtract the k squared? What do I get? Yep,
So, yeah, 4K, just,
squared.
yeah, 4K squared.
Keep going.
And
Is this going to change right here? No. So minus 4k.
And then -7.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so am I ready to factor if I can? Okay. So I have negative 28 and negative 4.
You can't factor it.
Can I factor those things? No. Okay. So I can't factor it, so I need to use the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There's a song, all over 2a. I'm not a singer. Okay, so k equals negative b. So it comes out to be 4. Where'd you get 8? Okay.
She didn't even know.
Plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared, which would be 16 minus 4 times, what's A? 4 times C, which is negative 7. So, let's see. Oh, wait, all over 8. There's your 8. Okay, so 28 times 4 is 16 plus 2, 3, 116. Is that 28 times 4? Oh, not 16, 12. Is it 112?
Yes.
Okay. So I have 4 plus or minus the square root of 128 all over 8. Okay, so 128 is 4 times 32, isn't it? And 32 isn't it 16 times 2 is 32? Why'd I go to 16 instead of...
8 times 4 was 32.
Yeah, but isn't
Oh, yeah,
16,
that
but
was
16 times 2?
Yeah.
And I went to 16 because it's a perfect square. And it's bigger, right? If you needed to break down 4 and 8, you could break down 8 again to 4 and 2, couldn't you? Okay, so now I have 4 times 16 times 2. What's the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of 16? 4. So it'll be 2 times 4 square root of 2. So what's 2 times 4? 8. So you have 4 plus or minus 8 square root of 2 all over 8.
Can't you take out 4?
I can factor a 4 out. So I'd have 4 plus or, 4, and then it'd be what? 1?
Plus or minus 2 square root of 2.
1 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 8. Okay. Now 4 goes into 8 how many times? 2. So I'm going to go this way because I have more room. So K equals 1 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 2. And that's my answer. Now, I wouldn't expect you to work that out because we don't know the square root of 2, correct?
Yes.
Another one?
No, yeah.
What, Nat?
Okay.
In that.
What's the first thing I do?
Flip them over.
Set it equal to 0. But yes, but we're just going to use big kid terms. So Jaden, when you set it equal to 0, what do you get?
Well, you will lose a 5 over and get k squared.
Because she added 5k squared
Plus k.
and plus 4k minus 4. Is there any...
Oh, shoot,
Co-
what about the other 4?
Yep, you can't combine it if they're not like terms, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So factors of 4 that have a difference of 4. Difference. And that would be a sum of 5. Can I get the factors of 4 to have a difference of 4? No. So I have to use what? Quadratic formula. So you try it.
I gotta go.
The band students that are eligible to go help. The frozen food truck has arrived. Please report down to the commons area for the band students that are able to help.
Riley.
Bladen, are you doing this problem?
Have it done.
Would be high school band students.
Identify your A, B, and C and plug into the formula. What's A, Kyson?
0.
No.
4.
What is in front of this K squared?
A 1.
A 1. What is B?
4.
What is C?
4.
Isn't it negative 4?
Yeah, -4. Same thing.
No, it's not. So the quadratic formula is K equals negative B plus or minus the square root B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So we just plug in now. So negative B, so B's positive.
Stays.
It doesn't stay. Negative means it switches signs every time. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes what? Okay, so negative 4 plus or minus the square root of what?
4 squared.
4 squared is?
16.
Okay. Minus
4.
times
Don't know.
AC. What's A?
Huh? 16 times 4.
What's A?
No, 1.
1. What's C?
4. -4.
All over 2 times A. What's A?
1.
1. So what is negative 4 times negative 4?
16.
So I have 16 plus 16, right?
Yeah.
Which is what?
34. 2.
32. And now I need the square root of 32. But we just said that was 16 times 2, correct?
Yeah.
What is the square root of 16? Okay, so I have negative 4 plus or minus 4 square root of 2 all over what? 2. In the numerator, does this term and this term have something in common?
No.
They don't both have a 4?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then you have 4 times negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 2.
What are you getting?
Where do I get what?
Negative 1.
Negative 4 divided by 4.
Okay.
Is that negative 1?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 goes into 4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 goes in here twice. So K equals 2 times negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 2.
Yeah.
Or you guys can do this. You can do negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2. Either one is fine.
Wait, what?
So is that our answer?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a lot easier.
What, Jaden?
It's gonna be a lot easier until you get home and try to do it.
100%. Or when they both leave.
Okay, shh, Kyson. What was your question, Jaden?
Okay, so you have negative 4 plus minus 4 square root of 2 over 2. And then you,
Factored a 4 out of the numerator because they both had 4s. Now, when you get really good at it, guys,
then what did you do?
and then I reduced 2 into 4. Now, when I get really good at this, if there's a 2 in the denominator, would I factor out a 4? I would just factor out a what? 2? Could I have done this, done 2, and left it as negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 2? And then the 2's reduced, and where's my answer?
Right there.
See that?
That's how I did that.
Yeah. When I see the denominator is only 2, even though I can factor out a 4, I just factor out a 2. Okay? But sometimes that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. So the biggest thing today, guys, is to know what? This, yes? Now, we did get further, which is good, than I thought. The assignment today, I'm going to move tomorrow's assignment up to like Wednesday's assignment up to tomorrow. Got me? You get me what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I'm doing that is we don't want to waste time if we don't need to waste time, correct? So today, all you're doing is quadratic formula. Tomorrow, you're going to have a worksheet where you hit it, and if you can factor, what are you going to do? Factor. If you can't factor, then you're going to do what? Quadratic formula. So I will get that worksheet ready, and everyone who's going to miss tomorrow is going to miss in the afternoon, correct?
Yeah.
So come in. Yeah, some people are missing tomorrow. Make sure you come in before you leave tomorrow, or check with me.
For Gracie Vermillion.
Check with me before.